Hey viewers, I've got a nice trio of dungeon mods to cover today, listed on screen right now. I would have done more, but these mods took me a long time to get through. Anyways, there's not going to be much of a battle today since none of these mods conflict with each other, and in fact I wouldn't hesitate to recommend loading all three at once. These dungeon mods are exactly what you need to breathe new life into the game after you've played for hundreds of hours and explored nearly every vanilla location multiple times already. They do have some minor flaws, but nothing that will break your game or even your immersion. All of these mods try their best to stay lore friendly. They're awesome, definitely better than most of the vanilla game's content. So let's take a look at all of these mods in detail, shall we? I would give a spoiler warning, but none of these mods have much of a story to be spoiled. Our first mod is Nordic Europa Research Facility. You can find the entrance to the facility next to the Cambridge police station. It's inside this decrepit office building. After getting through some raiders, you'll find a sealed door locked by an advanced terminal. That's one criticism I would levy at this mod. It requires you to have the hacker perk to access 99% of the content, which is a big no-no. The vanilla game never locks you out of an entire location for not having the right perks. Anyhow, once you're inside, you'll notice the dungeon itself looks incredible. It has some stunning architecture, and in particular one really awesome step-out moment midway through the experience. The soundscape is set up perfectly too, with long, booming echoes following every gunshot in larger rooms. There's quite a few optional areas, and if you really take your time to explore, there's 2 or 3 hours worth of content in this mod easily. If you do explore even a little bit, you'll find at least a few hidden, bygone accelerators. There's 12 scattered across the dungeon, and one would think there'd be some kind of reward for finding all of them, but there isn't. I think that's a big missed opportunity that could have been used to power an experimental machine or something like that. But regardless, the accelerators are weightless and sell for 250 caps each, so there's at least some monetary benefit to the scavenger hunt. The facility is infested with feral ghouls. They'll be the main foe you have to deal with. If you have any mods that add new types of ghouls, they'll spawn in the dungeon too, and I would definitely recommend loading such mods to add extra enemy variety to this dungeon. Combat difficulty is quite mild, considering ghouls can be easily kited around objects or eliminated safely from high ground. The biggest dangers are running out of ammo or getting trapped in a corner. I didn't play on survival mode, but there is plenty of food and water stashed around the facility too. I only got stuck for a few minutes once because a certain jumping puzzle wasn't obvious. Besides that, this mod does an excellent job of conveying the player through the facility. Bright lights are often used to point out where you have to go next, or to make keycards more visible, which is a tactic adopted straight from the vanilla game. The level design is great. The dungeon ends with a somewhat unexpected and anticlimactic fight with 3 Deathclaws. As a reward for completion, you get workshop access to both the arena where the Deathclaws were and the massive Epicurus's Fortune area. This is a great reward if you care about settlement building, but if you don't, like me, you might wish there was an alternative reward somewhere. But I guess all the XP and legendary items should suffice. This mod is excellent, and I hope the author makes more dungeon or quest mods in the future. Our second mod, Chinese Remnants, can be started by reading a terminal entry at a surveillance outpost to the west of Roadside Pines Motel. The entrance to the surveillance bunker is locked, and so are all of the bunkers in this mod. If you haven't taken the Expert Lockpick perk, you'll have to take Kate along for this mod. Again, I'm not a fan of this design decision. This mod has very basic and linear level design. Some of the buttons and keycards you're expected to locate can be difficult to spot, but it's nothing a few minutes of wall humping and staring at every single piece of furniture can't solve. This mod's difficulty is a lot higher than Nordic Europa since there's a greater variety of enemies. Besides feral ghouls, you'll be fighting dogs, turrets, and Chinese remnant soldiers who are still holding a grudge against America even 2 centuries later. Let it go, guys, seriously. And you'll be fighting in some pretty cramped hallways. Bullets will be flying at you from all directions, so bring a lot of grenades, trust me. After clearing out the main bunker, you'll also have to deal with 4 extra bunkers, 2 in the Commonwealth, 1 in Far Harbor, and another in Nuka World. In total, this mod has about an hour of content if you don't count the time it'll take to travel to all of these bunkers. If you don't download any additional patches, the only unique item you'll find in these bunkers is the Chinese Fire Sword, which feels like an underwhelming reward. Still, this is a good mod. It's definitely worth downloading so you can stumble across these bunkers naturally during your playthrough. Our third and final mod is Operation Artichoke. You can find the entrance to the dungeon near Hardware Town. This mod's subject matter is based off of the real-life Project Artichoke, which eventually evolved into the much more well-known Project MK Ultra. I guess I'm giving away the plot a little bit, but to be fair, it is right there in the name. This dungeon is chock full of hallucination-inducing LSD. It's a very short experience, lasting only about 30 minutes. It does give you a recipe to craft a new type of grenade that emits lysergic acid gas, but these grenades are useless in real combat. They only make enemies run away for a few seconds, so the time spent throwing the grenade would be better spent putting a few more bullets into them. Even though the rewards aren't great, this short dungeon has a cool puzzle, as well as a key hunt and some lore terminals. The terminal entries have some spelling mistakes, but you can headcanon and explain that away by assuming the agents who wrote them were tripping balls on LSD at the time. So Operation Artichoke is a pretty good dungeon mod, not as good as the first two, but this is a game that really doesn't have enough dungeon mods, so you take what you can get. Alright, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was shorter than I would have liked, but I can't be making videos all day. I also need some time to sit on my fat rear end and watch hentai. While I'm doing that, you should go out and play through these mods, they're awesome. And until next time, viewers, cheers!